Hey, good morning, Algebra 1, or afternoon or late night, whenever you guys are choosing to partake in your note lecture for today. All right, guys, we are jumping into section 4, multiplying numbers. Everybody make sure that your textbooks are open to page 74. That is where I am. That is where you should be. So let's get there and we will get rolling here, guys. Let me undo that. All right. Okay, so just some basic things to remember, all right? I'm sure you remember this. I'm sure this is just old news, but just in case, a little refresher. If you're multiplying numbers and the signs on those two numbers are the same, then your answer is always going to be a positive, okay? So if you're dealing with two positive numbers, it's positive. If you're dealing with two negative numbers, then it is still positive for your answer, okay? Now we're going to do some problems here in the examples where you're going to see like three numbers, and I just want you to take them in groups of two. So in other words, like multiply two numbers together, get that answer, then multiply it by the third number, and pay close attention to the signs as you go, okay? Now, if you're dealing with a situation where you have different signs, so in other words, you have a positive multiplied by a negative, then your answer will be a negative. Okay, so opposite signs, always a negative. Same sign, always a positive. Okay, and the next thing, little refresher here with multiplying for fractions, multiply straight across. Okay, so in other words, numerator multiplied by numerator, that's top to top. Denominator multiplied by denominator, that's bottom to bottom. Okay, so multiply straight across, and you see the example I gave you right there. So you have 2/3 multiplied by 3/4. I drew those little green lines just to show you guys it goes straight across. Okay, so 2 times 3 giving you 6, 3 times 4 giving you 12, and never, ever, ever forget, you always reduce. All right, so 6 over 12 just drops down to 1/2. Okay, all right, and moving into decimals here. Very important when multiplying with decimals. Don't forget, move that decimal to the left when you're multiplying, okay? And then I drew out a little example here just to show you. So let's say you were to have 3.2 multiplied by 1.3. You'll notice I circled the 2 and the 3 because those are the numbers that are after the decimal. And that little part that I wrote there, there's a total of 2 numbers after the decimal, all right? You have the number 2, you have the number 3. That's a total of 2 numbers that are after the decimal. So you're going to move your decimal twice to the left in your answer. So theoretically, if you just took 32 and multiplied it by 13, you would get 416. But then you got to move that decimal twice to the left. So you'll see the answer in red there, 4.16 being your final solution for that one. Okay? All right, so again, feel free, rewind those notes, go right back to the beginning. You can watch all that little refresher again. Let's jump into the example problems, okay? So we start with a basic. There's only 2 numbers here. You have a -2, you have a -7. Remember, the signs are the same. So what is my answer going to be? My answer is going to be a positive number. And what is 2 times 7? 14. All right, so that's simply that one, positive 14. Okay, same sign, positive answer. All right, let's move into number 2 here. Now, we are dealing with a decimal, but it's a nice decimal. All right, it's a nice intro decimal. It's 0.5, meaning it's half. All right, so whatever number you want to cut in half, we can deal with that. And here's what I mean. You see how these two would be a great combo to deal with, because 4 can easily be cut in half. 9, not so easily. So I'm going to choose, because you can pick the order you want to multiply in. That's a benefit of multiplication. You can multiply numbers in any order and you will always get the same answer. Okay? Now, I'm going to deal with the 0.5 multiplied by the 4. You'll notice they are both negatives. So therefore, I know I will have a positive answer. And what is half of 4? It's 2. You'll notice I'm writing a positive 2. And then we got to bring down that negative 9 right there. So 2 times negative 9, notice different signs. So my answer is going to be a negative, and 2 times 9, 18. All right, easy stuff. I'm sure this is just cake. You guys are flowing through it. So let's keep these notes going. All right, let's move into example 3 here. Now we're dealing with some fractions. Again, just go straight across, okay? So what I'm talking about here is let's multiply these guys together first. What is a negative 3 times a positive 1? A negative 3 times a positive 1 is negative 3. Okay, in fact, anything times 1 is just itself. So negative 3 times positive 1 is negative 3. Then let's multiply negative 3 by a negative 2, which will create a positive 6. Okay, negative 3 times 1, negative 3 times negative 2, positive 6. All right, let's deal with these guys down here. 4 times 2, giving us 8. Then 8 multiplied by that 3 over there, giving us a positive 24. Okay, so in this case, we're now dealing with a positive numerator, a positive denominator. So our answer is going to be a positive, but we're not done yet because we can reduce. All right, 6 can go into itself 1 time. 6 can go into 24 4 times. So there we go. Let's box that answer 1/4. Okay, perfect. And we are just about done. Oh, perfect. We got one more example to go here. We are now dealing with a variable. Okay, so you'll see we have a negative x just thrown literally right in the middle there. Don't let that confuse you. In fact, don't even mess with that negative x yet. Just put that off to the side because it will come back into our answer, but we're not going to deal with it yet. What we really want to deal with at the start are these two numbers here because they can be multiplied together. All right. Now I see a negative 0.7. I see a positive 2. So what is my answer going to be when I'm dealing with opposite signs? It's going to be a negative. Okay, so we know that. Now let's do this. Let's just multiply 7 times 2. We know that's going to be a negative, right? And that's simply a negative 14. But how many numbers do we have after the decimal? We have one number after the decimal, which means I need to move this decimal 1 time to the left. Okay, so we're going to put it right there, meaning it is a negative 1.4. Now I need to incorporate that negative x right next to it. And we're not done yet. Here's why. Because x is a negative and 1.4 is a negative. So technically that would give me overall a positive 1.4x. Okay, we'll double check. Did we go through all of our examples here I wanted to in the textbook? That seems good to me. Okay, perfect. All right, guys. So that covers everything you're going to need for this section. Section 4, multiplying numbers. Go back, rewatch it if you need to, get a little more clarification. All right, miss you guys, care about you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.